All right, welcome guys to part 2 of the Financial Fitness Virtual Boot Camp. We're here streaming from Camdenton, Missouri. We got some crazy rascals over there on the couch. There's Cameron and Tiffany and Jake and maybe Hillary, and Rebecca's over there. And Jake's he'll be sleeping by the time we're done, but we're going to make sure that he doesn't do that. But we just finished up a great house plan down here, sharing this green box that we're going to go through here today. And so this green box, the financial fitness program, and just what an awesome opportunity to get a group of people together that want to progress and move forward in their finances and in life in general, and bring hope back into a world that's lost a lot of hope, and just starting with ourselves first. And so I congratulate all you guys for being on this call tonight. And we're going to see this thing grow and grow and grow. And it's going to be an awesome opportunity. And I wanted to, Robin, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. Is that okay? You're not muted, but we can't see your lovely face right now.
Okay.
But I was talking with Robin earlier today, and her son, David Wilson, got involved in the program through Ron and Carol Gibson, and Carol is Robin's sister. And Robin was sharing with me just how she's been just loving how excited David is about the program, and how they've been able to spend some good quality time together as a mother and son, which it's been just a great opportunity for you guys to grow financially together. And you want to kind of share your testimony real quick about what you guys have experienced over the last week and how awesome that's been?
Oh, no, I was just telling you how, that a lot of times we're both kind of preoccupied with our different lives or, different things. But usually it's the parent imparting the wisdom to the child. But it's been David imparting wisdom into me this week and helped me set some goals for, starting with a couple things I want to accomplish next month financially, to stop eating out for a month. And, he was just giving me some principles, like make sure I pay myself the 10% first. And, it just really, as a parent, made me feel really good that he's learning functional ways to handle his money. And it's okay to even admit as a parent that sometimes we don't have all the answers, and to allow other programs and people to come into your child's life and to share the wisdom that unfortunately I did not have to give him. Like I was telling my sister earlier today that, as parents, you do the best you can. And my mom, she just didn't know there weren't programs like this around. But, like today when me and David were going through, I think is it chapter 7, David, where they talk about the money.
Yeah, the money views.
Yeah. And we were going through that today, and you can laugh at it, but not laughing and not understanding the dysfunction. But we were saying, because I was like, wow, I'm number 1, 2, 3, and 4. But, technically, but then I could look and I could name that my dad was, what was it, David? The Money View Master. What was it? The best one?
You were saying number 9.
Number 9.
Money is a maximizer.
Yeah, money is a maximizer. That's my dad, and that's why he's would be somebody that would be a good mentor for money, because he's really managed it well. So it's just helped us spend some time together. I don't know if David feels the same way, but it's been good for me as a mother to put that time in with him with something constructive, and something life-changing.
That's awesome. David, do you have a perspective on that? Just kind of share what it's been like over the last week for you to be able to go through the program with your mom.
Yeah, it's really helpful, kind of being in the same household definitely helps, because it's kind of something we're both going through together. So it's like, I don't really have an overwhelming amount of knowledge more than she does about it. So kind of one thing I was telling you yesterday is kind of having these meetings helps me. I read something, I get one thing out of it. She has another input to put into it. And also it's kind of for the last 20 years of my life, we've been around each other all the time, as you can imagine. But it's kind of being able to see things that I've seen now, looking at it and learning things about like money, things I wasn't really concerned about as a kid. And now kind of seeing through knowing these money views and different values, knowing what she had to deal with and go through, knowing how, okay, I have to look at money this way. I have to do things this way. I can avoid this. It's just kind of seeing how to avoid things from repeating themselves, or kind of seeing ways and things that I should go through, you know?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Well, thanks so much, guys, for sharing, and welcome everybody to the call. We're super excited, and we're going to kind of dig in. Robin kind of set the stage. I was going to talk about money views real quick, and so I'm going to skip over here. I'm actually going to skip over a couple of these here because of time that we've got. But principle number 8, chapter 7 was the money views. And
Chris,
yes.
can I pause you for just 1 second?
You can't see my screen.
I cannot see your screen. I'm shifted over somewhere else. But I want to introduce everybody on the call to Miss Newman from Columbus, Georgia. Very, very hard worker over the last couple of weeks. And she was able to squeeze out some time and jump on the call with us. So I want to make sure that we all introduce ourselves to her and let her introduce herself to us.
Hello, guys.
Move on.
Hi.
How you guys doing? Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Miss Newman. How are you?
Welcome.
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the group real quick.
Well, my name is Shanta Newman. I'm in management, and I met Mr. Gibson on Lincoln, and ever since then, he sent me a book. I've been reading it, and I've also had 2 conference calls with him. So I'm just interested to find out what you guys do and how can I be a part of it.
Okay, perfect. Well, you're hooked up with the right couple for sure.
Okay.
That couple that you're working with, Ron and Carol, they've got a lot of people on this call tonight, so hang on to them. So did you say you're in retail? What kind of industry are you in?
I'm in retail management. I work for Foot Locker Incorporated.
Okay. You look like a shaker and a mover, so we're going to be excited to get to know you over the next couple of weeks as you go through the financial fitness program. So welcome to the call. We're going to kind of dig in. We're into part 2 right now, and we're going to start off with money views. And so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody out just so that we can get things rolling here. Okay, perfect. Okay. Looks like everybody can probably see my screen. If you can't, somebody unmute yourself, Ron. You won't be bashful. Unmute yourself if you can't see my screen. But obviously, I'm Chris Dorr, and next time I'm going to have a beautiful picture of my wife, Hillary, up here, but she's behind me right now. And so we're going to kind of dig into this. I'll give you a real brief overview of who we are, just so that you've got an idea. And this is actually an old picture because we've got another child. We've got 5 kids. My wife is the glue, and she's the magic of our family. But we got 5 great kids, and our life is just pretty amazing because of financial fitness. And we'll kind of get into some of that stuff. But I'm going to roll right into money views. And in chapter 7, they talk about the money views, and we're all the way into principle number 8. Which basically you figure out what your money view is and you become disciplined around that to have long-term vision, get your right money view, have long-term vision, utilize the habits of delayed gratification, use the compounding effects of money. And I wanted to ask everybody a question, and I'm gonna ask this question. So as you went through the money views chapter 7, what was your money view? Was it money as a mystery, money as a master, money as a monster, money as a major, money as a motivator, money as a manipulator, a minimizer, a maximizer, money as a monument, or money as a menace? And so in the chat box, go ahead and put that on there. And if you're not able to chat, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and just kind of share with the group where you put yourself. And if you guys want to share here, just, come up here and tap me on the shoulder because I won't be able to see your hand. So, and I apologize, but I cannot see the chat right now. So,
Well, I can start off and kind of buy us a little bit of time because I'm driving. But for me, growing up, money was a mystery because there just wasn't a whole lot of it around, and nobody could really clearly identify how it's made, much less how it works or the purpose of it. So you grow up with a mentality like that. You grow up in an environment like that, albeit well-meaning, great-hearted people, but still just not a lot of knowledge of our economic system and how currency works and it flows, and it takes a toll on you to become an adult because you don't know exactly how to operate in the world. You just know you need this thing called money and that everybody else needs it from you once you get it. And it puts you behind the 8 ball and sets you up to be in the matrix ever so gently without you even knowing it.
yeah, perfect. You just have to mute yourself out there. I'll mute you.
I am muted.
Okay, we're good to go. That,
Volume all the way down.
all right. Toby and Sherry, master and major. Welcome to the call, guys. You guys want to share?
Yeah, sure. I definitely said money was my master because I did not know how to save anything before we got started with this program. I thought that, $25 a paycheck was great, but I could never seem to at least get that $25 in there. And I didn't make terrible money when I first got started either. I didn't have any excuse, but I just didn't have the discipline. So Toby will share his side. He was definitely the major, was his answer.
Yeah, I think for me it was more of a not so much not having the money or just blowing it whenever I got it. It was, what do I do with this? So I was making good money at the time, especially before Sherry and I really met, making good money and just stick it in the bank because I didn't know what else to do with it. But then whenever something came along, okay, I'll buy that, sure, no problem. But then I would also work my life away to make the money that I didn't know what to do with that ended up in the bank. So
Yeah.
some better information about what it can do for me and what it's actually for has made a huge difference for us. And I can speak for both of us on that.
That's great. Thanks for sharing, guys. And so Hillary is in the chat room there. And so if I don't see some questions, if you guys have any questions, she'll be kind of working the chat box. And so if you want to ask questions or comments, she'll kind of be making sure to keep you on point in there. So that's perfect. Well, welcome anybody new to the call. I see a couple new faces down there. David and Jessica, or is it just Jessica there right now? Looks like David, motivator, maximizer, he thinks. Do you guys want to share real quick? You want me to unmute you?
David's half asleep.
He's half asleep. Well, poke him in the gut.
He thinks it's I don't have a long enough poking mechanism. He thinks, what did you say? Maximizer. It's been a long time since he's read that chapter though.
Okay.
But he's always had like a savings kind of mindset. Like he's always been the tightwad with money. So he's always kind of had that. It's for him, and for me, I think it was more of the master, because I never started saving until I read this book. Because my grandpa would always say, put at least $10 of your paycheck. And I was like, yeah. And I never really paid attention to it. And then I turned 18 and had a lot of credit cards and didn't pay them and credit card debt. So just recently I started saving and started paying off bills and things. And it's insane what actually saving money can do. So.
Amen. That's perfect. That's what we like to hear. We love to hear stories like that. And Ron, you've got your hand up. So if you still need to talk, go ahead and hop on here and unmute yourself. But we love to hear stories like that, Jessica, where, you know, people are just, man, this is like revolutionary information, or just a breath of fresh air of this information to help you kind of get things rolling and on track. So looks like Ron put his hand down. So let's roll into the next part here. And so if we look at this, let's dig into principles 9 and 10. So this is moving on into chapter 8. And these are the chapters that really start to get me pretty excited, because when you look at these chapters, it's more of how do I think like somebody who has what we like to say a turbocharged offense. And so this is how to be more like an entrepreneur. And so to think like entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs think. And so principle number 9 is financially fit people are avid readers and consistently invest in themselves by increasing their financial and leadership education skills, experience, knowledge, and abilities. And so this is literally starting into the understanding to invest in your brain power. And I know on this chapter in the book, you know, I circled the quote at the very top, you know, libraries will get you through times of no money better than money will get you through times of no libraries. And man, that was a great quote at the very beginning of the chapter for me. And then I underlined almost this entire chapter, especially the brain investment, understanding how to start investing in yourself. And always remember, I stopped this share so everybody can see each other, but I always remember, you know, listening to Chris Brady, and he would basically say from the neck up, right? Like that's priceless. You can never invest enough into the neck up, but from the neck down, we're all worth minimum wage. And I had gone through my entire life always investing in the neck down, or just working hard from the neck down. And I was never like trying to grow and develop myself from the neck up. And so this was a huge chapter for me. So if anybody has any perspective to add to this, go ahead and hop on here and share your perspective on principle number 9 that helps you understand how to start investing in yourself.
This is John Aldrich here.
Yeah, go for it, brother.
So not necessarily from this book, but just from the life community in general, I've started reading a lot more. And I was one of the people who got out of high school and was praising the Lord because I never had to read another book in my life. But got involved in this, started reading some relational books, and I saw the benefits that had in just my marriage alone. And so I continued reading on just more relational books, more just understanding people books, and it's helped in my life just immensely. And yeah, I see it daily, like I don't want to say repercussions, but the benefits of it. I see it daily just from reading, you know, like 10 or 15 books. And it's astounding how much just reading through one book one time can change your perspective. I have been reading through this financial fitness book along with the program here, and that has slowly changed my money mindset as well, which needs to happen. So just the power of reading, I don't know what it is, but just reading words off the page into your brain, it changes you, and I love it. I love it.
That's perfect, man. Great job. Thanks for sharing. I know that you've been really consistent. You know, you and I probably have pretty similar stories, kind of being around the mechanics and technical, you know, grease and oil and stuff like that, nuts and bolts. And, you know, that's just a community of people that don't necessarily learn and grow and develop themselves intentionally.
Not at all.
Yeah. So, you know, you and I kind of have probably a similar story, you know, from that perspective. So learning is fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. So,
yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Anybody else want to share real quick? Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, it's Carol Gibson.
Hey, Carol.
Hello, everybody. So
Hey,
basically, to piggyback off of was it John, the last guy was saying, yes, Jonathan, when you start working like your regular, I'd say 9 to 5 job, and you're working it so hard, after a lot of years, you realize that your physical labor, your mental exhaustion goes to that job and whatever that job entails. And as the year, like for me, as the years passed, I realized that as I was doing the same thing at my job, I was not growing. I was beginning to get frustrated and bored because, I was doing the task of whatever the job had me doing, but myself as Carol, I was not growing, I was not developing, I was not changing. And so, I got to a point of frustration a lot of years ago and just couldn't figure out what that was about. So when you fast forward to, a lot of the things that life leadership encourages, one of them being reading, you really understand, you just grow in a lot of different ways. I'm growing in having to talk and deal with people, which is something that I'm not very comfortable with. Kind of swinging on the melancholy and the phlegmatic side. So I'd rather, have a book and a Sudoku and like ignore the rest of the people in the room. So just having a business, it's really causing me to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm kind of reluctantly moving in that direction. But I think it's very, very valuable. I just like what I'm doing. I like what I'm learning. I'm like excited about it and like telling other people, oh my gosh, I was reading this book and, XYZ and just whatever. And they're looking at me strange. And I'm looking at them wondering why, like, they're not excited like I am. And then I'm like, well, so then it's like, I don't want to be around those people because I'm like, you're dragging me down. So, that's the other side. I've kind of chit-chatted with some coworkers and I just kind of given them little nuggets about life leadership, but just more so I'm reading and I'm learning, I'm reading and I'm learning, and I'm not hearing that back from them. And it's kind of like, well, okay, we'll see you later. I'm going to spend some of my lunchtime, reading instead of talking to you. That's kind of where I want to be right now. So. Yeah, nobody else is going to teach it to you, so you got to get it for yourself.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Carol, for sharing on that. I wanted to take this opportunity to just kind of make sure everybody was updated on one of our top subscriptions on investing in yourself. And so that's what the beauty of this is we got a holistic program that helps you educate yourself and invest in yourself. And so to follow along with principle number 9, the total personal development subscription that's out there, and you can get 3 for free as you sell to customers. This is an extremely retailable product, a subscription that you can retail to customers. And so you've got your different silos. You got 6 different silos of digital products that you can have access to here through your entire total personal development portal. And that Rascal Radio is an amazing one. I love the sales training. That sales training alone is worth like $300 a month. And this program is $60 a month. And so as we start understanding investing in ourselves and that being the best asset that we can invest in, and start to eliminate some of that debt that we're starting to identify leaks in the pool, right? If we look at our finances, it's potentially leaks in the pool. We start plugging those leaks, and we have got more money that we can invest in ourselves. And so that's what the financial fitness program does. We're not saying, hey, go out and find new money, but let's help you start making some better choices through the financial fitness program and start investing that money instead of servicing debt or servicing things that just aren't going to give you any type of a return long term. And so just want to make sure everybody was aware of that. Get with the person that you're working with. If you want more details on that, go on your website, go to Access Products, Total Personal Development. You can get more details on that and subscribe there if you need to. And so thank you so much, guys, for sharing. I mean, you guys are making this a productive call for sure, with the information that you guys are all sharing. So let's talk about principle number 10, financially fit people excel at the work and projects they're doing now, and at the same time they invest in themselves in order to achieve their long-term vision. When I read principle number 10, that makes me think of an individual named Bob Pollock. And Bob Pollock, and you guys can see now that I'm going back to the Brady Bunch look here, you guys can all see a bunch of heads nodding when I say the word Bob or the name Bob Pollock. And Bob is always, Bob's worked hard, and he's got a lot of challenges in his life. He and his wife Carla do, and they've consistently, because of all those challenges, been tight financially month after month after month. And so, but Bob and Carla have stayed true to investing in themselves, and they've really honed in on that principle number 10 to where, they are financially fit people, excel at the work and projects they're doing now. And at the same time, they invest in themselves in order to achieve long-term success and vision. And so Bob's done that. He's just read books, and he'll outread anybody in this organization on books. There's a lot of new people here, so I don't know how many books everybody reads, but Bob will read 3 to 4 books a month, and he's listening to audios all the time. And so he's won all kinds of awards at his job working for Big O. The MFA Oil Group owns Big O Tires here in Missouri. And so he's a manager at Big O, and he's got customer service awards, and he gives all the accolades to the organizational life and the system of development that he's plugged into. And so he's stayed consistent to that over time for sure on a regular basis. And so anybody have anything they want to share on that, on principle number 10, before we move into chapter 9?
I'll share.
Okay. Yeah, hop up here, Tiff.
Share a quick little bit. So because of going through these principles, there is an opportunity at where I work, which is a 24/7 residential facility working with troubled adolescents and youth. And so after kind of talking with my upline, talking with my husband, and I decided that I wanted to kind of step up my leadership capacity with what I was doing when they announced that there was an opportunity to mentor and coach new orientees that are coming into the to the company. And I'm not the type of person too much who wants to complain about how things should be. I kind of want to step up and be proactive. And so because of this information, it gave me the confidence to go ahead and accept that role and additional responsibility where I'm working, to be able to really lead and influence people on my job.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Bless you. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm going to actually skip over just for time's sake here, kind of start rolling along. Sorry, I'm doing something to another screen before I share it real quick. But thank you so much, guys, for sharing. And all right, so principle 11. Let's roll on. I don't know if any of you guys have your books there, but I got my book handy here so I can kind of follow along and see what I highlighted in the book when I read through it. And so principle number 11, never sacrifice principles for money or possessions. Be honest. Keep your priorities in the right order. And I highlighted Raymond's story. And so basically Raymond's story is a bunch of his sons and daughters at his funeral, at Raymond's funeral, and just all the people that came up and talked to the family about who Raymond was and how he was impactful in their life. And the family members really didn't know it. But just the way that he was able to leave a legacy, because he stayed committed to his principles, and made sure that his money and everything and all his possessions, that he just kept all that with integrity and character the whole way. And so I thought that was a really inspiring story about Raymond's story there, about how we can leave a massive legacy here. And so let me ask you guys a question, and you guys can share as you like, but what does it look like for you? What does your financial legacy look like for you that you're envisioning right now, moving forward and leaving this world? What's your financial legacy look like that you're going to leave this world with? You might have to think about it for a little while. Anybody want to share? I know, Ron, this is something that's kind of near and dear to your heart.
Definitely. I was sending a chat. I mean, I don't want to monopolize much of the time, but coming from the background that I came from with limited resources, you really just don't know that there's another side to life. But then when you get exposed to that, and you get exposed to the fact that you can live another way, and that it's actually encouraged, then you want to. The thing with me is, I've learned that obviously I should not put, tons of money in place for my kid to just walk into it and not have to do any work. I can't rob him of the struggle, of his dream, struggle, victory. I can't rob him of that. But I can put in his path the opportunity and the development of getting the education, getting the information, becoming a student of his life so that he can access the stuff. And it's just, it's not a negative. It's not a knock on the people that collectively raised me and brought me up, but you just get exposed to something. And now you know that you can take your life higher, and you can let the people coming behind you step on the foundation that you built so that they can start off at a higher plane as well. So I've always said my life, it's kind of like a door hinge on which I'm going to swing open and allow the people behind me to come through. So that's been a passion of mine. It's been something that's driven me way before I came into the life company. And it is something that motivates me daily to go and deal with what I have to deal with. So, yeah, it is a big deal with me.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I know that leaving a legacy for your children's children's children is something that's huge for you guys and for you and Carol. And you guys do such a great job with that, with Nathaniel as well. One of the things for Hillary and I is, I'd always, whenever I read these books, the financial fitness book or the financial fitness for teens, I thought when I read the financial fitness for teens, I was like, man, I wish somebody would have gave me that book. Right now, I probably would have never read the book. I don't know that situation. Obviously, I wasn't a reader back then, but I totally always wish, I thought, man, if somebody would have given me this information when I was, 10 or 12 or whatever. And so, something that Hillary and I have kind of started doing is, we're actually looking at buying whole life insurance policies for each one of our kids. And, but we're actually going to we're kind of using it as an investment piece for them right now, because it's at their age, that's something that they can do. And so I'm not giving this as direct counsel to anybody on the call. It's just, I can't do that to a broad base because I don't know where you're at, everybody individually financially. So definitely get with your financial coach and finish the program, finish the Beyond Financial Fitness before you make any moves like Hillary and I are doing, because we're at a different spot in our journey right now. And so we're looking at starting these whole life insurance policies for our kids, as life insurance protection for them if something were to happen health-wise, but it's really more of an investment hedge for them. But we're going to use that, and we're going to figure out ways for our kids to fund that themselves. And so, yeah, sure, we're going to get it started. We're going to do some of this stuff for them. But, the whole idea is it's going to be, I don't even remember how much it is a month. It's like $25 a month or something per kid. And so, but we're going to be looking for entrepreneurial ways for them to go reinvest in themselves. And so we're looking to start that legacy from our perspective. I wish I would have had this information, 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And so we're starting our kids out early. Our oldest is 9, our youngest is 1. And obviously the 1-year-old's not going to be able to pay it off right now. But down the road, we'll be able to help them figure that out. But we just want them to understand the concept of investing in themselves. And when they make $1, doesn't mean they go spend $1, right? What could that dollar be in 20 years if I put it in this account? If I invest it here, You know, if I take a third of what I make, put it in the bank, a third of what I make, you know, and have a targeted savings and a third of what I make to spend, you know, after I give the 10% to the church or, you know, whatever charitable giving that you decide to do. But that's something that we're looking for, leaving a legacy there. So somebody's got a raised hand. It's telling me.
Ronnie?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, bro.
First of all, I want to apologize. I lost power and I had to go to another location to plug in. But I wanted to kind of rewind just a second about the reading portion.
Yeah.
Early in life, I gravitated toward reading because of my parents reading to us as kids. And so when I started first grade, I was at a fourth grade reading level, and they wanted to move me up in grade levels, but the kid was too big, so I wasn't having none of that. But I didn't know that people wasn't reading like that. I didn't know the difference. And so I always been the type of person that had a strong relationship with reading and learning. And I was pretty much self-educated person, but I didn't get formal college education until late in life. And but it was the self-education of the passion for reading that I learned a lot of things. And when I did to get to the point to be formally institutionally educated, most of the subjects that they covered, I was very well familiar with the subjects and the authors and things like that, because I had been on that crusade for quite some time. And as a parent, I insisted and mandated that my kids 5 days a week read an hour a day out loud. That wasn't for them, that was for me. They can read as much as they want for themselves, but they had to do that for me. So they grew up with that passion for reading. And every Friday that we wasn't doing something family or church-wise, which was probably about at least 3 to 4 Fridays a month, we would go to Barnes and Nobles and we would read and pick out books and stuff like that. So I grew up in that culture, and I was able to let that be a part of my parenting skills.
That's perfect, Ron Dozier. That is awesome, man. Like just keeping that legacy going of leaders or readers, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And someone say, hey, just because you read, that don't mean you're going to lead. But if you're going to lead, you're going to have to read.
That's right. That's right, man. Man, you sound like a CD, man. We got to get you a CD.
Well, I'm just excited to be a part of. I'm looking at all these names and all these winners that I'm having the blessing to have a connection with. I feel so honored. See my man Cameron, and that just motivates me, because him and I have been getting real close through a situation he's been helping me with. But it's just good to see everybody, and I just want to chime in just a moment.
That's awesome. We appreciate you, man, down there in Jacksonville, Florida, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for calling in, guys. And it's an hour later there for those guys, but so we appreciate you guys for doing that. All right. So I'm going to move into the next principle. I'm going to try to wrap everything up here on the hour, but we're going to get this thing rocking and rolling here. But so if you look at this, Malcolm Gladwell, right? 10,000 hours of mastery. So principle number 12, do the work to gain mastery in what you do, usually about 10,000 hours of mastery. And so many times you see people, they move from this thing to that thing. They get distracted, right? They gotta learn how to say no to some things. And I think we got a principle coming up here in a second as well. So I'm gonna move into chapter 10. If anybody has anything they want to share, I'm gonna read through principles 13 and 14, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with a group discussion. And I got a couple on here that paid off some debt that I want to kind of have them share a little bit about that as well. So principle number 13, financially fit people don't ask, can we afford it, as much as they ask, do we really want this? Will it help our purpose and dream? How will it help our purpose and dream? In what ways might it be a distraction? Will it cost more money to take care of it or keep it? Insurance or annual fees would be an example of that. And then would saving or investing the same amount be a bigger help to our purpose and vision? Is now the best time for this purchase, or would it be less expensive or just better for our family or business at a later date? And so that's principle number 13. There's a lot of nuggets there. Okay, sorry, it's not done yet, but they cultivate a habit of saying no. There's where the saying no comes in, to purchases when they can easily afford them, and of putting much of their money into savings or investments instead, or paying off debt would be one of those examples. Principle 14, financially fit people analyze their habits in life as well as finances and work to break bad habits and cultivate good ones. They think about and choose the habits they want and need to achieve their life dreams. And so that brings me to, so when I read those two principles, principle 13 and 14, there's a couple on the call here tonight. Yeah, there they are. I see them now. Every now and then the Brady Bunch lineup changes, so you got to look for people a little bit. But there's a couple on the call tonight, and I believe they put in the chat, that they paid off $27,000 over the last few years using this program. And so this couple is Toby and Sherry, and these guys have been such an inspiration. Whenever Toby and Sherry got started, I mean, these guys there's just been an all around transformation in their life. And they have implemented a ton of these principles out of 13 and 14, all kinds of those questions. I guarantee you they ask those questions a ton of times to get to where they're at. And they've consistently educated and grown and developed themselves, and by analyzing their habits to create success habits in their lives. And so Toby and Sherry, share with us kind of what 13 and 14 mean to you, and share about paying off $27,000 in debt. Yeah, that's a standing ovation right there.
Well, Chris, you're saying it's developing the habits and asking those questions so many times, but truth be told, a lot of times it's looking back and saying, why didn't I ask those questions? Why did I make these stupid mistakes when I knew better? And, it's definitely it's been a process for us. And we've had to really change and grow a lot along the way. And we have to really thank this community of people that's been there for us every step along the way. If we didn't have this kind of setting, this kind of environment of other people that were in different stages of the journey to join us and to support us, we would never have made the decisions to follow those principles. Because even though the truth rings very sweetly to the ear, it's still really easy if you don't have anyone supporting you to stay what's comfortable, stay within what's easy. And Sherry's got a picture here. I don't know if it's going to pull up or not, but we've definitely come a long way. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not.
I don't know if you can see the very long beard and my blue hair that's up there. That's not really a reflection. That's just my hair. So, but yeah, definitely a huge change from where we were at previously. But absolutely. I mean, we still ask ourselves these questions. I would love nothing more than to have a nicer house. And we've talked about that. Like, it's been a pretty big spot lately. Like, I just want a new house. We want more room. Our kids are as tall as I am. It's like 4 grown adults in a small house. And, even just rereading them just now, we're like, yep, that's right. We don't need to spend any more money. We're in a spot now where it can be very comfortable to start kind of letting more money float away. Because with my new job, we do have the opportunity to bring home a little bit more money, and, our principles are a little more in place. We don't have as much debt now. So it's like, we've got some more money. We can roll that into a new house, and really being able to just say no and, trying to snowball down the last bit of that debt. We have a little bit in medical bills that we got over the end of last year. that's going to be really quick to take care of through our HSA. But, other than that, we have about $65,000 student loan debt, and that's all that we have left. So 3 out of the 4 student loans that we had. Also because we didn't have anybody telling us that it's not a good idea to go to 4 colleges for 1 degree. We have the chance to tell our kids a little bit more, but, teaching them the legacy things. And, my daughter, seeing that, we've paid off our car, we bought our van in cash to have a second vehicle, and she's doing the same thing. Me and my son were driving the other day behind a Model S Tesla, and he asked me if we could buy him a Model X for his 16th birthday, and I said, oh, heck no. But helped him walk through how he might be able to have that. We're fortunate enough in our family. My first cousin he's a millionaire. He's built his landscaping business from the ground up over the last 20 years, and he's in multiple states throughout the country. It's definitely a B-type system, but it's, caused him a lot of years. So a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of, the rest of the family working for him and multiple people and the buckets and what happens to those buckets. But, being able to show my son, this is somebody in our home that has done this. What can you do now? And so we're talking about helping him being able to start some sort of a lawn mowing business over the summer and, being able to finally hire his buddies and, let them work for, less than the price of a mowed lawn and help them figure out how to build this. And, with the kids, making sure that they know these principles right up front. It's required that they put half of their income in the savings account right away. So they don't even count that. My daughter's at the point now where she says, well, if I'm going to get paid $300, I know I have $150. And she pays her own car insurance to be a part of our policy and, be able to have that multi-line discount. So, tons and tons of things that we've been able to do and been able to pass on. So we've been very lucky through having this information for sure.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to you guys for sure. That's great. That's great progress. And you guys have been dream building like crazy. I know every day after church, you're probably going to go tomorrow. You go to all the open houses of the nice houses around Columbia. And I think that's a great idea to do that. And you're taking the kids, you're including the family in it, and you're helping them see, that, hey, here's some of the rewards moving forward that we can provide, by being good stewards of the money, by being financially fit. And well, I'm excited. We're going to wrap up the discussion of the financial fitness program here for now, right there at Principle 14. We'll start with Chapter 11 next Saturday. And I'll put in the invitation how far I think that we should go. And then obviously on March 11th, we will not be meeting because we'll all be at seminars, right? So we'll all be at our local seminars. And I know in St. Louis, we've got Claude and Lana Hamilton. And then in Florida, in Orlando, you guys have Craig and Kathy Weberg. But your ticket holder meeting is Orrin and Lori Woodward. And so that's pretty exciting. So you guys should all be getting your tickets there. And Ron is going to have to let Miss Newman know who's in her local area at some point in time. So
Atlanta, if you want to peek at it real quick.
All right. Do you remember who they are right now?
I haven't peeked at it yet.
Okay.
But I thought maybe you on the site. I was going to say it's Atlanta.
Not currently right now. I got a lot of sites open, but not that one right now. But,
gotcha.
So that's great. But what's great about this is if we want to turbocharge our offense the way that we make money, that's where you need to come to a local Tuesday night meeting in your area. There'll be one starting at 8 p.m. and you can learn about how this crazy organization called Life is getting a bunch of crazy, rowdy entrepreneurs around, getting ourselves set up right financially, and then becoming business owners together. And we don't have time to get into all those discussions, but That's the key. Learn how to turbocharge your offense so that you can get out of your debt faster, you can make more money, and then pay less in taxes. And so it's been a great call tonight, guys. We appreciate all you and everybody that shared, and who, if you didn't share, we still appreciate you for sure. And just keep having your goals out in front of you. Keep having that vision in front of you. And Miss Newman, are you still available? Hopefully you're still available. You might be driving still. Okay, perfect. Do you mind hanging on the call for just a second? And everybody else will kind of jump off, and then I'd love to ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind staying on the call for just a second with Ron and Carol.
Okay, well.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you all next Saturday, or we'll see you at Tuesday. We're going to St. Louis for our Tuesday open meeting. So have a good one. Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Toby, Sherry, David and Jessica, David, Wilson, Stella. Good to see you. Looks like Robin Wilson has 2 devices on. Mr. Dozier, Carol, you'll stay. Grease, good to see you, or see your name. Sandy, good to see you, girl. And John and Daniil. Hopefully Daniil's there with you. We'll see you guys later. So,
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.